First of all, you should ask yourself, is Timbaland or Ellie?
Harry Styles is back, but can he dethrone Bruno Mars?
Welcome to our Grammy edition of the Hot 100 show, and look who I have with me from New York. Hey, Delisa.
Hello, Tetris. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you here, and hi, guys. Look who I got.
I was gonna say, Delisa, you switching sides out here? What's going on?
Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. Yeah, I'm excited to be in LA. Look, I have sun. I don't know what y'all got.
Not sunny here.
Yeah, you know what we
It's
got.
Snowy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, the weather's crazy, but we do got a chart to talk about, so let's get to 10 through 8.
This is the Billboard Hot 100 Top 10 for the week dated February 7th. Opalite is still at 10. Folded slips to 9. As does Somber to number 8.
And look at that, Opalite, your favorite song, coming in at number 10. And then we got two of our Grammy darlings in here. So how you guys feeling about the chart so far?
Of those three things, I mean, obviously, Grammys, like you said, Folded, big winner last night, taking home 2 awards, Best R&B Song, Best R&B Performance. So those are Kehlani's first 2 Grammy Awards. She mentioned she was nominated for the first time about a decade ago. So kind of as we've been talking with Folded on the charts, it's been this story of, you know, where she started 2016. It took her until this moment to really get that big, major breakthrough, undeniable first top 10. Same thing with the Grammy love. So it just is one of those things where it's all coming around, the full testament. Clearly, people still loving this song. We'll see, you know, if the Grammy wins. I know they're on the pre-telecast, but social media love, maybe if that'll kind of help the song get a couple, you know, points next week. But, I mean, shout out to Kehlani in there in particular for bringing home those first 2.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, super happy with Kehlani, but Somber has like super grown on me. I knew he was your guy, Trevor, but like seeing him this week, watching him perform, his outfits, his fashion, that guy has it.
Somber was one of my favorite performers of last night.
Easy.
I think he just brought the house down. It was like a rock show. He was wearing that like glam outfit that was like mirrored, very disco-y. I thought he was incredible, and you know, obviously Back to Friends is the song that really helped him break through. This is the song that's in the top 10, but he didn't even perform that last night. He performed 12 to 12.
I was shocked about that, by the way.
Which, honestly, if you get the platform, you better do what you want to do. Honestly, this is your show, Somber. And I think that's the cool thing about the Best New Artist category is it was so different, every single artist. And I think they all took their opportunity to show what they're going to do in 2026.
I mean, and I know obviously we'll probably get to her somewhere on the chart, I'm assuming, but Olivia Dean, like her winning that category, were you guys like locked in on that? That's who you picked?
That was who I picked, yeah. It was locked in. I loved her performance too, very 70s disco, like retro vibes, and she just brought the house down. I thought she was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, she was definitely sort of the people's champ. I thought there could be an underdog moment for Leon Thomas just because we know he's so, you know, well respected in the industry and connected. He also won a couple awards in the pre-show, so he is a Grammy winner now, you know, for his own music. So I thought maybe there was a little chance for a spoil, but in particular, you know, just I think in the past few months, I know she didn't win last year, but in the way that Doechii sort of coalesced really around, you know, November, December for a lot of people, leading to that Best Rap Album win last year and that Best New Artist look. I think Olivia Dean in that same way, like so many people just in Q4 were loving the album. Obviously, Man I Need became this big hit right at the right time with the voting and everything. So, you know, shout out to Olivia for really just that timing and everything coming together in that perfect storm kind of moment.
Yes, congrats to Olivia Dean. And of course, Opalite, I'm actually shocked. It feels like it's on a little bit of a fall right now.
You know, so we're talking a lot about these Grammy people. Taylor, not in the mix at the Grammy Awards this year with Life of a Showgirl coming out too late. That'll be in the 2027 cycle.
She'll be there next year. Yeah.
But, you know, on a chart perspective, it's like now things are really moving in for Opalite. Ophelia had obviously a massive run at number 1. Now attention's turning to Opalite. So we've been sort of looking to see when that move was going to happen. And it seems like now really things are kicking in. So I know people have been thinking, can this go all the way, get her a second number 1? In the next few weeks, we're really going to see a lot of things build up for it, I expect.
Absolutely. And I feel like, obviously, you know, Taylor, if she wants number 1, she can always get it. But I feel like now the competition is pretty stiff. We have new Harry Styles. We have new Bruno Mars. Noah Kahan just dropped a new song.
Ella Langley is
Ella
out
Langley
here.
is climbing
like,
still. Like, it's pretty tough right now. So we'll see how Opalite does.
I mean, well, let's see how the chart is going this week before all those newcomers and get to 7 to 4.
Ordinary is down to 7.
Ordinary, I want you laying me down to
while I Just Might falls to number 6. Taylor appears again at number 5. Golden is locked at 4. Already, I gotta say, I'm shocked that I Just Might fail because that is the best song ever right now to me, and his performance last night, mind-blowing.
Y'all know I love my man. I mean, I don't know what, I'm actually not surprised by this at all. I think that hitting that first spot was him being like, no, I'm back. Now I think we're really gonna get to see what Bruno Mars is going to do to distinguish himself in this rollout. I think he always does a really, really great job of that. So I think that we just got a little taste. So I'm not surprised by this. I mean, also the timing of everything, it makes sense that this isn't staying at number 1.
Well, I think he can come back. I'm just saying.
I hope that there's something else from the album that we'll see have some staying power. That's my hope.
I think this song has a chance to like re-rise, maybe come back to number 1 at some point. Obviously, you know, it spent its first 2 weeks at number 1, but he performed twice last night. Obviously, he played I Just Might, but he also performed Apata. Like, he had a big look last night, and I feel like it was a good reminder to a lot of the Grammy viewers that like, oh my God, Bruno, he's still got it. He's one of the best performers out there. So even though it drops a little bit after spending 2 weeks at number 1, I think it could come back, and there's still time.
Yeah, I think with Bruno, I mean, the radio airplay is going to be a major factor in this song's success going forward. It really had a huge radio debut when it first came out, obviously been out for a couple of weeks and still growing. So there's still a little bit of room to grow there. The streams are coming down, which is basically why it drops from number 1 out of the top 5 this week. But yeah, when the album comes out, I mean, certainly that'll give it a boost. We'll see at that point. I mean, it's only a few weeks away. There could be, you know, that second single that everyone just gloms onto the week the album comes out, and maybe that takes over as the new thing. But with that radio boost, and then, you know, if there's a major streaming week for the album, that combination could be the one to send it back that week. So I definitely circle, you know, the week after the album comes out for a good look at that.
And we got to talk about Ordinary, because I don't know if you guys have seen his social media posts, but he was like, hey, my in-ears weren't working, it was frazzled. And I'm like, in the room, he sounded great. How do we feel about Alex Warren's Ordinary performance?
Okay, first of all, let's, no. We'll get to Alex. We will get to Alex Warren in a second. Teddy, not you just go sprinkle that, you know, oh, in the room it sounded great. Okay, come on, flex that you was in, I wish I was in the room. I wish I was in the city. I wish I was in the state, but okay.
Listen, but we got Delisa, so we're doing the best we can.
No, Tetris, you did kind of sprinkle that one in there.
That was not any shade, you know, whatever. I wasn't flexing.
No shade at all. It was you tried to stun on somebody, okay?
And somebody caught it. That's all I gotta say.
But,
Somebody caught that.
I agree. It sounded
great
no
at home.
problem.
Yeah, I felt sad for him though. Like I thought he had a good performance, but I remember right when he finished his performance, it cut to him like a close-up of his face, and he looked a little bummed. And I was like, oh God, maybe he didn't feel like it went all that well, and I guess now we know why.
I did see him pull the in-ear out, like,
he did,
so I was kind of like, oh, like you know what that means.
While he was like in the air on the platform.
But hey, that's hey, a good singer can sing live, so shout out to him for, you know, not missing a step.
Yeah, a professional. And of course, the fate of Ophelia is still hanging in the top 10, but we should also talk about Golden because of the Grammys, and I was shocked that they did not win in the Big Four.
I really was too. I mean, it did still make history at the Grammys, correct?
Yeah, I think it won one of the earlier awards.
Right. Which, I mean, one thing that I think that the Grammys did really well was create a show that really showed what 2025 was like. I would have loved to see some more representation of Golden. I also know that it comes from a movie, so maybe we'll get to see that more and more as we get through award season. But I was shocked as well. I really, really was. I think they maybe could have performed it, given it another breath, another way for people to enter into this K-pop Demon Hunters fandom that I'm sure no one has missed. But I am surprised. I am surprised that it wasn't in the Big Four.
I mean, maybe they're saving it for the Oscars. What do you guys think?
I was surprised as well. Like I had my money on Golden winning Record of the Year, and of course it didn't, and was bummed. But like it still took home a Grammy and did become the first K-pop song to ever win a Grammy, right? So that's huge for K-pop Demon Hunters and for all the artists involved, and obviously we have to celebrate that news for them. And you know, maybe the record of the year and the big four Grammys it wasn't for them this night, but I know the Oscars are next, and maybe we'll see more things in the next few weeks.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm wondering, because there was more than usual on a Grammy telecast, a lot of talk about contracts and exclusivity. Obviously, Trevor was trying to sort of get Bad Bunny to talk, but if you're doing the Super Bowl, you're kind of blacked out. So I wonder if there's something kind of going on with the Oscars in that same sense. It's on a different TV network, or maybe they're just trying to, you know, make sure they kind of save the big moment for that show where it's, you know, got to be the front runner for Best Original Song. So maybe there's a little sort of backdoor play going on with this. But in any case, yeah, I mean, I know people were hoping it would win Record of the Year, but still to get that win, it is a Grammy Award-winning song. And very soon, in about 6 weeks, March 15th, could be an Academy Award winner too. So still a lot to go with that song.
Well, I love talking about award show season with you guys, but we have a special guest that I can't wait to get his opinion. All right, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting to be bopping as hard as I just was to the new Babybel remix. Like, how did this come about? Talk to me about the collaboration.
You know, it's strange how things come about. I was reached out to say, hey, Tim, you know, would you like to do a commercial? You know, and I said, what kind of commercial? It's like a cheese commercial. I was like, cheese, you know. But then in my brain, I'm thinking like kind of dope because it's outside the box. And I'm like, okay, what brand is it? And it's like Babybel. I was like, oh, that's one of my favorite brands. You know what I'm saying? My cheese that I eat, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, and you know, when I heard the original, I was like, I always wanted to do something that would last when I'm not even here. Like, you know, like my kids would be like, my dad did that jingle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's always cool to have that rememberable sound. And I always wanted to be a part of something that was a big brand and to be a part of their sound and branding their brand. You know what I'm saying? I think, you're my baby, it stays with you. Whether you know what I'm saying? You could be talking about a whole nother subject, but you're going to, yeah, my baby. You'd be like, man, where I hear that from? Oh, that's the Babybel commercial. Then you'd be like, you know what? That reminds me, I got to go eat.
And I also love the vinyl. Like, that's such a great collaboration to do. And how was it to come up with that creative concept?
I mean, we all said, like, you know, we was talking about the word wax. And we was like, well, vinyl is wax. So when you look at the wrapping of Babybel, the wrap, the unwrapping, the wax, it all had the synergy to align. And we said, what about we just connect it with a vinyl? And then they like, what about a mini vinyl? And I was like, oh, like a 45 back in the day. I was like, phew, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is nothing like, I mean, that is why I gravitated towards Babybel, because that wax, it's like one of one. And it's great, like when you're a kid, just to chew on. It has like a nice little feel. So the wax, I love the synergy there.
And by the way, when we were snacking on the red carpet yesterday at the Grammys, she brought cheese. So she's being for real.
I'm really not playing. Really not playing here. Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, speaking of the Grammys, how did you feel about the show last night? Did you have any favorite moments?
I think one of my favorite moments was Leon Thomas, because I've been working with that guy for so many years, and to see him get his flowers, you know, it's you know, it's not about our time, it's God's time, you know. And at that moment, I know Leon been always head up high, going studio rooms, just constantly providing for artists, writing for artists, and to see him get his moment is such a, you know, like it shows me that, like, if you stay committed and consistent, it will pay off. You can't mark the date when it will pay off, but if you stay on the grind and go through the trials and tribulations of life, and you stay letting music be the love of your driving force of your life, God will reward you when the time is right.
Yeah, I think that kind of plays into one of my favorite moments of the night, which was the Roberta Flack and D'Angelo tribute, where that just felt like divine in the same way that you're speaking about with Leon Thomas. And then also being able to see him just coming off his Best New Artist performance, maybe introducing himself to certain people in the audience, and then being able to stand alongside so many legends, just shows where the genre and where Black music is going.
Absolutely.
And I mean, Leon also has been slaying on our Hot 100 chart. Our chart has been all over the place recently with newcomers like Bruno Mars's I Just Might, Olivia Dean slaying on our chart, country music. How do you feel about the Hot 100 top 10 right now?
I feel like it's making a breakthrough, but I feel like there are new people that's about to come on the top 100 that we just haven't heard yet, and I feel that it's opening up to not being stuck in the box. I feel like the top 100 now is open up to people who think outside the box. Olivia Dean, she thinks outside the box. She brought nostalgia back in her way, and I love what Jelly Roll is doing. Like, he's my favorite, just because of me and him have the same synergy when it comes to faith based, and I understand the struggles of, man, when I'm gonna make it and when I don't make it, and so he gives to me a revival speech that pushes every person to keep going. You know what I'm saying? And I think seeing him on the top 100 that's to me is the most joyful thing, because he is a guy in the middle age that he would have never thought he would be that far. And I look at God, look at where he is at. And he's bringing so many people along, and he's acknowledging a lot of people. And I just think that's beautiful. I'm glad the Billboard is being more broad and open about music, and they're letting a lot of great music come in the door.
Absolutely. And speaking of Billboard, we have some employees over in New York that have a question for you. So take it away, guys.
Yo, what's up, Timbo? 2026 is going to mark 20 years since you and JT changed the game with FutureSex LoveSounds. Obviously still in rotation on my playlist today. I just want to know two things. One, what is your favorite song on that album? And two, 20 years out, which song did you think was a little underrated, didn't get enough love? What should people go back and check out?
So the FutureSex LoveSounds album is 20 years. Anything I felt that was slept on that album, you know what? I believe that album got the praise that it's supposed to get. Every song people talked about. Only thing I feel like the Grammy that we should have got album of the year. That's the only thing. And I just gotta keep it 100. Like, won't nobody doing what we was doing back then. But hey, you can't spin the block on that. But I feel like we could spin the block on that, because I feel like FutureSex LoveSounds still is carried to this day. And that's how you make an incredible album. And sometimes credible albums don't get album of the year. I feel like that's the album of the decade, of decades, of decades, of decades. To me, FutureSex LoveSound is Pink Floyd, The Wall.
You got two people that agree with you right here. I gotta say, Losing My Way to me is the slept on one though, because Losing My Way, I was going through it. I wasn't old enough to go through it, but I was.
Right, think about it. Everybody lost their way. You know how many people losing their way right now? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It is the most iconic album, and I feel like we need to put another character, not the best album of the year. What's the most iconic album that's been listened to from 5 years on up? You gotta do a new category, because the year is a year, but what album stays around in your play deck? And I believe FutureSex LoveSound stays around right now, and it's been over 20 years right now. Usher Confessions been over 20 years, and these albums still play. It's like they came out yesterday. So we need to change the categories, or even if people can say iconic albums that will never lose its taste. You got to put that up there.
For
I
sure.
love this idea. And then lastly, we were talking about, obviously the vinyl and the history of making music there, but you have been very vocal about the future of music and your use of AI with artists and everything like that. And people have a lot to say about it, Timbaland. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the internet constantly debating your involvement with AI and music.
First of all, you should ask yourself, is Timbaland an alien? Yes. Does he not put in strange things in music? Yes. So it's only a couple people say, I want to see how he's using it. And I'm like, bingo. Watch how I blend two worlds together. All AI to me is just a tool. It's just it's like, wait a minute, I can have a companion that can kind of get if I can't elaborate my thoughts to this person, maybe let me talk to this machine, or I would say to the computer. Now I have a computer that can say, well, maybe you're thinking like this, and get ideas, and I take it back and I still cook up. It's just a tool to break through the friction and get to my idea quicker. That's all it is. It's no replacement. I don't look at it like that because you gotta understand I'm Timbaland. I come from the human experience of what I do. But when you give me a tool that just is powerful, that I can think of the most craziest things that I ever thought of, and it can give me similar to what I'm thinking, why wouldn't I use that? Because that's the same thing like when I heard the baby on this little CD, and I'm like, why can't I use this baby laughing in this song? Why can't I use this this chicken and can we in SWV? You know what I'm saying? So it's just why can't I type of moment. So it's not people don't have. I'm not the one to be afraid of, but don't be afraid of me. I'm just using it as a tool to speed up my process and to get more of my functionalities that I have in my brain that I can't get out. Now I can get out a little faster, and it's helping me involve more humans because I'm like I can hear something that it might play, then I go get the real play. I'm like, oh, this person over here can play this way better. You know what I'm saying? It kind of directs me in a way.
Well, dude, it is such an honor to even be able to hear you talk through your creative process. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And let's get right back into our Hot 100 Top 10. Man I Need is down a spot to 3. While Choosing Texas hits a new peak.
Drinking Jack all by myself. He's choosing Texas, I can tell.
And debuting at number 1 is Harry Styles with Aperture. Wow, I mean, we got a really shaken up top 3 for the first time in I feel like a long time. Man I Need, obviously we discussed the Grammys, but Harry Styles at number 1 and Choosing Texas at number 2. I don't even know where to start, guys. What are you thinking?
We got to start with Harry, right? Like this is his comeback song, and obviously this is the introduction to this new era of his album cycle with Aperture, and I'm really here for it. Obviously, there's been a lot of discourse about whether we want this new dance pop side of him or if we want more of a pop angle. I think it's great. It sounds like he's been in those Berlin clubs. We have a bit of a dance edge. It sounds a little Tame Impala influenced. I'm really excited for it. It gets me so pumped for the full album, and I'm curious if he's going to keep with this trend for the full track list. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, Harry was one of those people that I was looking at as, okay, who's been quiet for a minute? Who's been sort of under the radar? Because when Harry goes away, he really is gone. I mean, there were no, half singles, appearances, pop-ups here. So
he's running marathons, though.
He is running marathons in good time, apparently.
Yeah.
And also popping up at the Vatican to see the new Pope. Like, Harry's been around. But I am curious to see what this new sound is like. I really appreciate, one thing about Harry that I actually really do like is that when people expect him to like zig, he zags. And people always, probably wanted it as it was, just this big pop sound again. I'm curious to see how this song fits into the album. I know it's the opening track. I know for some people it's a little like, okay, but I think when we get the full picture, I think it'll make a lot more sense. But obviously the people have been waiting to see Harry, huge streaming numbers, strong radio and everything like that. So Harry Styles really one of those guys that, when he says he's coming out, you got to watch the charts and everyone else might have to just get out the way.
I mean, I have to be honest though, I was reading the internet and what they were saying, and it is interesting to me that he's kind of got this like disco ball album cover and dance sound. It's like, is this Harry Styles' Renaissance?
Oh, Lord.
It's giving Beyonce.
Please let's not do that.
But it says disco occasionally.
Right, that's
so
right.
then people are trying to read into that, so kind of like, okay, so
maybe just half the album.
It'll be sprinkled in, but like, don't get too crunk,
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna be riding a wave kind of, maybe that's the kind of vibe. It'll be like highs and lows, like in a concept nightclub or something.
Okay, all right, I gotta go to Berlin. I gotta see what he's talking about. And then of course, we have Man I Need with a big night at the Grammys. Congrats to her. Now she's at number 3. She fell from number 2. Do we think she's still in the running for number 1 at all?
Yes, absolutely. I think this week, being around Grammy week, being in LA, like, I feel something in the air. Like,
who's flexing now?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Listen,
We don't need y'all.
Listen, y'all. I haven't had sun in months, okay? I am acting different. I will say that, yes, okay?
She's gonna come back like, when I was watching Olivia Dean perform,
And will. But back to Miss Olivia Dean. I do think that look at last night's show was something that it makes stars. Like it felt like that to me. Her whole look, like it's like she was glowing. And I think this is just the beginning for Olivia Dean. And I don't want to like put too much on her, but I do think that with everything that we've been seeing, I think Man I Need is gonna have some staying power on #1 when it gets there.
She's calling it.
She's calling it.
She said when, not if.
I do think that this is just the beginning. I think it still has some time. Last night, I think you're right, Delisa. This was like a huge look for it. Won Best New Artist. She was just, she was huge. It seemed like it was hers to lose. Like, I feel like after the show, a lot of, listeners are going to come and try to stream that song and maybe give it just the boost it needs to maybe get to #1. Maybe next week. Obviously, this week it was competing with Harry Styles with his comeback song, but I don't know. We'll have to find out next week.
And last but not least, Choosing Texas, #2. Like, congrats to Ella. Like, how are you guys feeling about that song getting so high with a new peak?
That is the one to watch out for, because I think, we're talking Harry, we're talking Olivia. It's that #2 that's going to be, I mean, you can't really be a dark horse at this point, but who would have guessed, I hate to be, like sounding like Paul Rudd out here, but a few months ago, this song is just starting out. I mean, Ella Langley is not, she's not a name that is, been in these kind of ranks and conversations before. So this big breakout single, and country songs in particular, outside of Morgan Wallen in the past couple of years, and some of these major big album associated songs are not getting this high on the Hot 100. And unlike Harry obviously is coming back with that big first week debut. We saw the same thing with Bruno. This is a song, Choosing Texas, that has just been climbing up. It's really going up in radio. It's going up in streams. So that to me is one of the ones that feels like there's no reason to think this song is going to stop anytime soon. And that, if talking about Olivia and who could be in the way for #1 for her, who would have guessed Ella Langley is probably going to be her biggest competition in the next couple of months. And on top of, then the Bruno album comes out, then the Harry album comes out. So
then the BTS album comes out. Sorry.
Intrusive thought.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for letting me loan Delisa. I'm gonna ship her back off to you guys, and I'll see you again next week.
Don't make me leave.
If you want more Billboard, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to be notified on all our latest videos.